How is it going, everybody? This video right here is the NFL Week 3 Sunday slate best bets. I'm going to give you 3 to 5 player props to line your pockets. Absolutely fill them up to the brims. Even if you have cargo pants on, all of your pockets are going to be full. This is not the early look video we watched earlier in the week that you tuned into that I made. This is specific player props. I'm going to give you the plays, the reasoning, and hopefully the sports books where you can find the best odds. Let's get to the plays. But first, the first play I've got for you is Alvin Kamara. Now, I alerted this earlier in the week at a 101.5 line. It's just moved to 102.5. I don't think that's a big deal. Was available on BetMGM and Underdog. As you can see, I've got the Underdog link, the Underdog screen pulled up on the board. Code Hulk gets you a deposit match on Underdog. So if you haven't signed up for Underdog yet, check it out. Use the code Hulk, or the link is in my bio. Now, Alvin Kamara has been over in both of the games this year. Now, I think the rushing yard line, I think, is set at 64.5, if I'm not mistaken. 65.5 here on Underdog. That's not a bad line at all. But with a player like Alvin Kamara, give me the opportunity to get there both on the ground and through the air, because he catches a ton of passes. We know he's dynamic. He's basically a wide receiver in the backfield. I want him to have the opportunity to be able to both rush the ball and get there, or get there catching the ball. So even if he's having a down rushing game, he can still get there through the air. He can get 70 yards receiving and still get you this bet to cash. Eagles allowed the 4th most rushing yards in the league this year. That is why you see everybody is on the rushing yards. However, if they decide to lock in on Kamara and cue in on him and focus on their defensive attack on him, he could still get there through the air. So ultimately, you're not really getting taxed too heavily on this line, combining the rushing and receiving yards like you can sometimes. So I've taken a look at this. I like the rushing and receiving yards over 101.5 and 102.5, which it is right now for Alvin Kamara. Now, the next play, as you can see, is on the board, and this is interesting. Now, I alerted this earlier in the week when I liked this play when I came across it doing my research. It was a minus 130 on FanDuel. Now, as you can see on the board, it's a minus 115. Headed in the right direction for us. However, that leads me to believe that for some reason, potentially the public is not betting it, or they don't think that this is going to happen. But I don't understand why. The Cowboys have given up the most rushing touchdowns this year on the season at 4, just in 2 games. Pulling up their game logs, they gave up a touchdown to Jerome Ford, and they gave up 3 rushing touchdowns to Alvin Kamara. Now, I understand that Jerome Ford only got 1, but that's 2 weeks they've given up at least 1 rushing touchdown. And I love that line for Derrick Henry, for a guy that's getting some touches around the goal line. He's not the workhorse he used to be, but we know if he gets inside the 5-yard line, he can probably get you there. And he has scored in both games this year. So I don't understand it. I like the odds we're getting here on the anytime touchdown. It is a pretty high 47.5 point game total. I'll take Derrick Henry in a game that Baltimore is favored on the road to get a rushing anytime touchdown. Now, the next play is on the board. However, I have to preface this. This is the value of VIP, guys. The premium picks that I put out got this line earlier in the week at a minus 120 on BetMGM. However, the line was set at 63.5 on BetMGM at a minus 120. 63.5 is what we got this line at. Now it's 9 yards higher. I believe this is a combination of 2 things. I believe it's a combination of Debo being out, which we knew anyways if you were paying attention, but also George Kittle on Thursday, the 19th, was limited or did not practice. So I think the public is starting to assume that there's a really good chance that he does not play. I like this line at 63.5, even with Kittle playing. I like it even more if Kittle doesn't play. But I also think the 72.5 is probably okay. However, I'm not one to play a line that's bumped this much. So I've already got my money locked into this game. But if you're playing it now, if you're just seeing this video, I do think the 72.5 at a minus 114 is okay. I don't think it's bad. Let me see if I can find you that play on another book at better odds. So right now I looked up Brandon Ayuk's play, and it says BetMGM might still have that at that line. PrizePicks, 65.5 is the next best. And then if you look over on Underdog, 68.5 on Underdog. Caesars as well has it at 68.5. So if you have access to one of those books, take a look at it. See if you can grab that line. The lower, the better, obviously, because I like the over in this game. I like it with Kittle playing. I like it even more if Kittle does not play. The Rams are banged up. They are pummeled right now. The 49ers should be able to have their way with that defense. In games without Debo, with Purdy, Ayuk has gone over this line in 3 out of 5 games. He's had big games of 81 yards, 101, and 109 receiving yards, and Rams are giving up the most yards per target in the NFL at 11.33 per target. Now, the next play that's on the board is a juicy one, so we're going to have to get creative here with what we do. Amari Cooper over 3.5 receptions. Now, he has struggled this year because this entire offense has struggled. Deshaun Watson looks terrible. He looks bad. I'm just going to come out and say it. He does not look good. However, Amari is due some regression because he's seen 9 and 8 targets through 2 weeks. 9 targets first game, 8 targets the second game. If that doesn't scream regression, I don't know what does. The Giants are giving up a 75.9% catch rate, which is the 3rd worst in the league. All that means is when they throw the ball, they're giving up more completions to the opposing team. Their cornerbacks are lazy. They're slacking off. They're not up there on the receiver to press them, to knock the ball out of their hands, and they're not intercepting or knocking down any of those crossing routes. Amari Cooper should be able to feast. If he gets 9 or even 8 targets in this game, he should absolutely, at a 72% catch rate potentially, absolutely be able to get 5 or 6 receptions in this game. Now, if we need to cut the juice, because in my opinion, some of these guys will tell you to play a minus 164 and put 2 units on it. Whatever, I'm not going to do that. That's not enough money in your pocket. What I think you can do is do something like this. Take Tampa Bay Buccaneers plus 3.5 as an alt spread. Now you've got a beautiful minus 114 here. I love that as an option. This is the official play that I love here. And I absolutely think that Tampa Bay can at least win by more than a field goal. But even if they don't, even if they lose this game by just a field goal, you've got those points in your back pocket at a beautiful, cool minus 114. Guys, I appreciate you watching this video. I hope you found it helpful. I hope you found it insightful. I tried to provide some of the why behind the plays, give you guys some good player props, even show you how to cut the juice on plays. So you can do that with anything. If somebody puts out a play you really like, but by the time you get to it, it's a minus 160, do something like this. Cut the juice with it, something you like, something that has a high likelihood of success in your opinion, and give yourself the best odds and the best chance of success, which ultimately leads to more money in your pocket. Do me a favor on your way out, subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, drop me a comment. It boosts up that YouTube algorithm. You know, it's all about the algo. And I appreciate you guys watching. Catch you on the next video. And remember to bet smart and win more.